Make sure you download the Woodward Sports app in the App Store and the Google Play Store today. Take Woodward Sports with you wherever you go and listen live on your phone or mobile device. What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Big D Energy right here on the Woodward Sports Network. We're live at Feldman Chevrolet in Novi, Michigan's #1 Chevrolet dealer. My name is Neal. Ruhl. That guy there, T-Foss,
Hello,
Terry
everybody.
Foster.
What's happening?
You all right?
I'm good. Ready to go.
Absolutely. Dug out and everything like that, so we are good to go.
You know what? Saturday was so weird. I was out and about, and I was with some friends, and I said, man, it's warm out here. As we're surrounded by like 20 feet of snow and ice. It just felt surreal.
It was.
I loved it.
I do have to say, to let everybody inside, and by the way, welcome to the show. Jump into that woodwardsports.com chat thread. Myself, Terry Foster, we got Sam Flannel, we got Westy, JB Smoove is here in the house. And I do have to say, Terry, to let everybody inside just a little bit, you and I went out for a beverage after the show on Friday.
We did.
We did. One of the fine local establishments there in Birmingham, and we walked it right up to the line, right up to the beginning of the storm. Then we parted ways and went home. And the second we got home is right when the storm started.
I know. When I got home, there was like little flakes, just kind of, it looked cute and everything.
Yeah.
And so I did like one chore. I think I threw some socks in the washing machine. And when I looked out again, the trees were hanging down, and there was ice all over the place. The roof was making all kinds of weird noises. I thought there were animals up there, but it was the ice trickling down the roof, and it was just weird. I mean, if we had delayed, if you wanted that fourth beverage,
no, I did not. I wanted 2. We settled on 3.
Okay, if you had got your way and had that fourth beverage, we would still be trying to get home.
we probably would be, though. But, yeah, interesting nonetheless. Big-time sports weekend as well. The Combine, everybody's favorite. We have some thoughts. There's the Combine winners and losers like there always is, Terry.
Of course. And I guess the big winner is Anthony Richardson.
Absolutely.
Which could help benefit the Detroit Lions because, in this town, we're always looking for the next quarterback. But if Anthony Richardson is going up, it doesn't mean he's coming to Detroit. It means maybe the Lions could get Jalen Carter without trading up.
Absolutely. That is out there in the universe. We will discuss that as well. The Red Wings trade deadline came and went, and we got into it. Steve Yzerman spoke to the media and broke some things down. Really have a big appreciation for Steve Yzerman and what he had to say. We will discuss that as well. Sam Flannel, your Michigan Wolverines go 0 in the last 2 games of the season, but it doesn't matter, Flannel. They're in.
It does matter.
No, it doesn't.
Hey, but you know what? Michigan has the talent, the most high-end talent in all of the Big Ten. And on Selection Sunday, barring that they go on a miracle run in the Big Ten tournament, they're going to have to sweat it out on Selection Sunday. It's an absolute disaster. And you know what? If Michigan loses to Rutgers, I want Juwan Howard out and fired on the court immediately.
On the court.
Yeah. What was the football game where they fired the coach right on the field? That's what you want?
Yeah, make it like Herm Edwards. And if it can happen to Herm Edwards, it can happen to Juwan Howard.
So you want Ward Emanuel on the court, say, come here, fella. I got to talk to you.
I mean, what is Juwan Howard after yesterday? I have a crazy stat for all of you guys, something that you guys don't even know probably, and something that sounds almost made up. In 1-score games in his entire tenure at Michigan, Juwan Howard is 2-10. 2-10. That is now their 7th loss on the season. That is just in a biblical fashion when they had in this case, a 12-point lead in the second half. So I'm over it. I miss John Beilein so much. I never knew that when John Beilein took that job with Cleveland that Michigan basketball would fall so far. Just very, very disappointed.
Wait a minute, Sam Flannel. I was told that Juwan had come back home, and it was a natural fit, and it was going to be perfect. That's what I was told.
They were tied for second before the game yesterday.
Yeah.
Okay, they were, but that whole natural fit thing, he had never been a coach before then. He had been an assistant with Miami. He'd never been a head coach of a team. He took over a John Beilein program that had been to the national championship game twice in 2013 and 2018, and were coming off of a 30-win season in which they made the Sweet 16. What John Beilein inherited was the Tommy Amaker disaster where he went 6 years no tournament. So what Juwan Howard has done was take the most successful Big Ten basketball program from 2013 to 2019 and the greatest NBA factory of all Big Ten schools from 2013 to 2019 and burned it to the ground. I am livid.
Now, wait a minute, Sam Fennell. There was two NBA players on that team last year.
Okay, second-round picks. John Beilein recruited and coached
Musa Diabate was a first-rounder.
He was not a first-rounder.
You sure?
I'm positive.
Okay.
Who was this?
Caleb Houston wasn't he?
He was a high second-rounder.
High second?
He was
Okay.
the 33rd overall pick.
But they're both playing in the NBA. They both got Tick in the NBA this year.
Tick. I don't care about Tick. They've both done basically, they've had a cup of coffee. Congratulations. Congratulations. John Beilein recruited and coached 8 first-round draft picks. And that doesn't include Duncan Robinson, who played a big role with the Miami Heat, and Glenn Robinson III, who played 7 years in the NBA. So I miss John Beilein so much. And if Juwan Howard, if they lose to Rutgers, which
they're not going to lose to bum Rutgers.
you think that they won't lose to Rutgers, but they shouldn't
not.
They shouldn't have lost to Central
They're
Michigan.
not.
They shouldn't have blown a 7-point lead with under 2 minutes left at Iowa. They shouldn't have lost these last 2 games. But you know what?
animated.
They found ways.
I know he is.
I am animated.
They're not playing at the rack.
I know.
So they're not going to lose to Rutgers.
They actually won by 13 at the rack. Maybe Michigan just has their number. And you know what? On their best day, I think they can beat Purdue on their best day. But they have no depth. They've shown over the past couple of games that they don't really have a true point guard. Doug McDaniel kind of came back to earth. They have no power forward.
I was told to teach me how to Dougie. That's what I was told.
He played 3.
You said it.
He played 3. I didn't say that, but
Yes,
I
you
said
did.
I said that he came of age. I didn't say teach me how to Dougie. He came of age, but then in the last 2 games he's kind of came back down to earth, and he's not quite ready. As you said, they were trying to feed the ball into Hunter Dickinson, who was dominating, by the way, when he got the ball, but it just didn't work. And their power forward situation is terrible. Terrence Williams is a bum. Will Shedder is a bum. Terrace Reed is too young. F this team right
You
now.
know what Michigan's biggest problem is? It's not whether Juwan Howard can coach or not. It's because Juwan Howard allows there to be too much noise. And what I mean by noise is Hunter Dickinson going in with his mask and saying they're going to rob Wisconsin.
Steal a win.
Then Juwan Howard, I'm a man. I'm from Chicago. I'll kick your ass. Don't mess with me. That's noise. Just play the game. Shut up. Go to your press conferences and try to win games. When you have too much noise, eventually things fall apart.
Yeah, and we are going to discuss Michigan basketball coming up in the second hour of the program. Rack on our WoodwardSports.com chat thread. Remember, tap in on there. Says, quote, high-end talent, but can't close a game. That makes sense. CJ Schneider says, Sam is such a drama queen. Joey Two-Time says, LOL, CJ.
They're going to miss. They might miss the tournament.
They're not missing the tournament.
With 2 first-round draft picks. I've seen mock drafts where both Kobe Buffkin and Jet Howard are first-round draft picks, and Hunter Dickinson basically having the exact same season as last year, 18-9 on 56% shooting and 42% from 3. This team should win the Big Ten based on their talent, but they're going to be the 8th seed in the Big Ten tournament. Tisk, tisk.
Tisk, tisk. CJ Schneider also says Dougie's going to be fine, so there's
He will
that.
be fine. He's just not ready yet. He shouldn't be on this stage. Jalen Llewellyn tore his ACL earlier in the year.
Mark Royal says the Michigan guards are making dumb turnovers when it's time to win. And Jet with 2 T's didn't get the job done. And when we do get into it, Sam Flannel, I will support your whole Juwan Howard argument from what I saw, because I sat down and from the basketball perspective and was chatting with some of my basketball people. And there were some concerning signs. So I will back you up when that time comes. But certainly, we will get into all of it. And I know tomorrow Spenny's back at the studio in Birmingham. I think tomorrow we'll get into the UFC thing with Spenny a little bit. There was a Tom Brady sighting, and social media went wild with that, and it was pretty funny. But we'll touch on that one tomorrow. And of course, as I said, the NFL Combine and TFOS. Look, we knew this was coming. Like, we prepared ourselves mentally for it. Anthony Richardson came in. He tested off the charts. We'll certainly touch on that. But, T-Foss, I do have a question about the Combine itself. And what I've noticed now is you'll see guys that, and I saw this a lot at the linebacker spot, guys that play at 260, 265, they'll come into the Combine at 250.
Right.
So they can run.
Correct.
So they can run, so they can help their stock, so they can put up a good 40 time and things like that. Has the Combine kind of jumped the shark a little bit?
It's definitely jumped the sharp because now the public wants to watch it. They used to have the combine and nobody cared. Right. Nobody looked at it. Wasn't on TV. But now these players realize that I could have the best tape in the world, but if I screw up the combine, I'm going to go down in the draft. So this is it's kind of a dog and pony show now. You don't know if somebody can play football based on the combine. Now, you know they can run, they can jump, they can do little shuttle runs and stuff, but you don't know if they're football players. And I tell you, I used to go to the pro days at some of the colleges. One of the best displays I ever saw was of Brian Hoyer. Brian Hoyer doing he was throwing, he looked like he was ready to be Tom Brady. He's throwing the deep ball. Everything was accurate. But guess what? Nobody was rushing him. He didn't have to throw a ball under 3 seconds. He could do whatever he wanted. And so, yes, he made the NFL, but he was a backup for the most part.
He's got $1.3 million guaranteed this year, and he's released. He's not even playing.
He got paid.
You got to give it up to him, man.
So it was good enough to get paid. But, I mean, I find it funny how somebody could have like 1 sack, 3 tackles, 1 sack for loss during the regular season on a defense that sucks. But you come into the combine, we can run those shuttles. We got to get this guy. I mean, he must be good.
Detroit supremacy. Trade 6 and 18 and go get Anthony Richardson. So it's out there. It's starting.
Okay, guys, don't fall for that hype. If you thought Anthony Richardson sucked when he played at Florida, don't change your mind based on what we saw this weekend. Yes, he is very athletic. Michael Jordan was athletic. He couldn't play baseball. He made all these deep throws on point. But he couldn't hit a running back out of the backfield. How many throws are you going to make of guys doing wheel routes compared to guys going 60, 70 miles?
You do that once or twice a game.
Right.
Yeah.
So you hit that, and then you can't move the ball because you can't hit the back out of the backfield. So don't fall for the hype, everybody.
I knew this was going to happen, and we talked about this leading up. I know Sam Flannel didn't fall for it. Because what did I say?
No, they are targeting guys like Sam Flannel.
Sam Flannel was armed with the information before this happened.
I know that, but he's easily swayed. He'll tell you exactly what Anthony Richardson and everybody did during the regular season. But when he sees the combines and the guys out there in their underwear, he'll change his mind. They're targeting guys like you.
Hey, not on Anthony Richardson. And I know we're going to get into it more later, but I just want people to remember that 53.8% completion percentage, that 14 of 35, 2-interception game against Kentucky and Will Levis. That happened. People are pretending that never happened, that because he was this freakish athlete that all of a sudden that's going to translate.
There's going to be a Michigan basketball quality to it. They're going to turn that into a good loss. They are. They're going to do the same way they're going to do this with that Indiana game yesterday for Michigan.
Oh, just because he got out-dueled by the other great prospect, Will Levis.
And you know that Kentucky defense, Lions fans intimately know.
I know.
Josh Paschal and those guys.
Here's the problem. Sam is young. He doesn't understand that they're going to create a new stat to get Michigan into the tournament. Quality loss. We never heard that before, but they're going to come up with quality loss.
Quad 1 loss.
Yeah, quad 1 loss.
They shouldn't have to rely on that. That's my point. If they win maybe 2 or 3 of those 7 losses that were of just terrible, terrible proportions, they're in without a doubt. They're maybe fighting for a Big Ten championship. That's my point. They shouldn't be on the bubble in any way, shape, or form. Not this team.
Well, when it comes to lunchtime, though, there's one move that's always a quad 1 road win.
Yes.
Always.
Because Cousins Maine Lobster is definitely not on the bubble. They are in the number 1 seed. Woodward Sports is brought to you by Cousins Maine Lobster Detroit. Check out their food trucks rolling around the city offering the tastiest lobster rolls, lobster tacos, and more. Go to cousinsmainelobster.com and search locations to find the Detroit schedule or download the app to order ahead and earn points. It's Cousins Maine Lobster.
Introducing the Planet Fitness Guide to getting that post-workout glow. Step 1, what's your why? More epic energy, better sleep, blow off steam? Step 2, Join Planet Fitness for just $10 a month and get moving in our clean and spacious clubs. Step 3. Bask in that post-workout glow. Join Planet Fitness today for just $10 a month.
Join today at any of the 50-plus Detroit area locations.
It's a great day to get some Centron in your life. Okay. There it is. Centron, here we go. Gotta grab the cranberry. Oh wait, it's 2 for $4. Gotta double up with the classic as well. Centron World, baby. Centron, available at select Kroger's, and if you wanna know how, go to @CentronWorld.com. You get dope like me. You know what? Why wait? Great taste, guaranteed.
We are the network for Detroit, by Detroiters. Welcome to the Woodward Sports Network.
Guardian Alarm, it's a new year. Let Guardian Alarm offer you customized solutions from real experts. Our professional technicians take the time to recommend security and automation select solutions specific to your needs. 24/7 professional monitoring. Call us anytime, day or night at 1-800-STAY-OUT. And know that a Guardian team member will stay on the phone as long as needed. Technology backed by people. Your safety and security deserve technology that's been proven to work and people who have been proven to care. Call 1-800-STAY-OUT. That's 1-800-STAY-OUT. Guardian Alarm.
Back at it, off and pushing here. Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network, live at Feldman Chevrolet in Novi. They are Michigan's #1 Chevrolet dealer. If you're driving around in the car right now, when you pull up to the red light, look at the license plate frame of the car in front of you. Betcha it's from Feldman. That's the impact, everybody. They got the Corvette here. It's ready to go. You'll have to get here quickly because T-Foss said he's going to buy it when he gets done with the show. So
I thought you're going to just drive this out the show.
So you better hurry up and get here. They do have one here in the red that everybody likes, so come on out here. All of our people out here will take care of you. Sales, service, all of it. They are here for you. WoodwardSports.com chat. We're getting into the Anthony Richardson thing right now. Fight Forever, though, says Hendon Hooker's in his prime for a team that's going to be winning. And Fight Forever, I agree. Jared Goff could use a veteran, calming veteran presence in that locker room. So Hendon Hooker, Terry, certainly should be in play. Savvy veteran that's like 40.
He'll teach Jared Goff how to play the quarterback position.
He absolutely will. So maybe he could take Jared Goff and mentor him.
Maybe you could do that. Now, folks, I want to warn you about something. I know we got the Anthony Richardson stuff. Way back in the day, a lot of you probably weren't born, but we had a quarterback here named Andre Ware. And I used to fight you people every week who thought he should be the starting quarterback for the Detroit Lions. Dude couldn't play. He had no touch on the ball. Like, Neal was right here. Andre said, okay, let me hit Neal. He bust Neal in the chest with a 90-mile-an-hour fastball. Neal can't catch it. And they look at Neal like, damn, Neal, what's wrong with you? Butterfingers.
Yeah.
And so I'm the bad guy, because I hate the Lions. So I would go on and say, Andre, what's up with your touch? Shouldn't you have better touch in the ball? And he would look at me like, what are you talking about? I got touch on the ball. I said, man, you be blasting people. All his passes were hard, and guys couldn't catch his ball.
Unless you were 12 yards down the field, then it was at your shins.
Oh, right. Right. So it all depended. So I don't want this to happen again. Detroit, let's learn our lesson. If you got a decent quarterback, support him. There has never been a Lions quarterback that the fans were in favor of, ever.
Except for Anthony Richardson right now. It seems to be. People are hyped.
He will be their choice until he actually becomes a starting quarterback for the Detroit Lions. Then they'll be like, okay, who's the next guy? This is what we do. So Jared Goff got hot, possibly could have gotten you in the playoffs, showed that he's a very competent quarterback. So we shouldn't be trying to find his replacement already. To me,
a very fine local NFL quarterback.
Well, he's not local yet. You got to be around here 5 years to become local.
Okay.
So he ain't quite local yet. But Anthony Richardson, I don't know, man. I see this guy all the time. The Lion fans got to have him. Complete your team. And I think that's what Brad Holmes is going to do. He's going to complete his defensive line. He's going to complete his offensive line, get a little bit more depth. Now the job is to make it a team where even if Jared Goff becomes a bum again, they can still win.
Yeah, and T-Foss, look, I already feel the pressure, right, of the whole combine stuff. I already feel the pressure because I'm already willing to concede. Not for the Anthony Richardson thing. I'm already willing to concede to texts like this. Here on Mark M says, Aiden O'Connell, Stetson Bennett, Dorian Thompson-Robinson all look like guys that could be number 2 on the depth chart, maybe with some upside too. And I'm already willing to concede a later pick used on somebody like that, to whereas originally I wasn't, because you know what, quarterbacks in the 6th round with the exception of one, what's the 99.9% rate on them?
They're working at Burger King in 2 years.
The CFL in 1 year, and then out of football in 2 years. That's usually the way that it works.
XFL now.
They do. That is true. That is true. But I'm already adjusting myself to the point where I'm willing to concede that. Anything to stay away from this Anthony Richardson hype train. Anything.
Right.
Anything.
Now, the only way you would draft Anthony Richardson is, let's say he drops to the 3rd round, and you look at him as a guy that in 3 years, 2 or 3 years, you want to groom him as a starting quarterback. But everybody has to play in. If you draft Richardson, Jared Goff's first game, you can't be bitching about Anthony Richardson to be the starter. You can't put that pressure on the Lions organization like off Jump Street. The fans have to back off too and say, you know what? We understand that Jared Goff is the guy. We believe in the guy. Richardson will come in when he's ready, and y'all just got to shut up. But that's not going to happen.
Yeah, here on Mark M says Richardson would be number 1 or number 2 off the board if the quarterbacks go before the 2 an elite defensive lineman. And look, too, we've talked about this, and Brandon Katz says it, and this has been a mainstay. And I have to hold firm because it's going to get uncomfortable for this. You can't get the light if you're not willing to be in the dark for a while. And he says Anthony Richardson moving up the boards helps Detroit because it makes more likely that Jalen Carter will fall. And this is the game you have to play, and you have to have the backbone for it. And I understood this walking in because we started the movement, right? Yes, he was good in the combine, but I feel like we started this Anthony Richardson movement. Sam Flannel, would you agree with that? This show started that.
It definitely did start it, but I don't even think anybody thought that Anthony Richardson would put up those type of combine numbers. I'm not saying that that's going to translate to being a good quarterback in the NFL because I absolutely do not think so, but those are some Herculean type numbers. I've seen even people say that, Bo Jackson playing quarterback or Calvin Johnson playing quarterback, which is obviously ridiculous, but he did put up a hell of a combine, and I do think that he's not going to be there at 6 in this upcoming draft, which ultimately would help the Lions. As much as I think you're a fool if you take him in the 1st round, but a lot of GM, they want their quarterback. They want to sort of recreate the Josh Allen mold, and that's kind of what Anthony Richardson looks like on paper, but I don't see it.
And you know what we have to be careful about? The NFL is all about publicity. As soon as you are not talking about the NFL, they come up with something where they get fans all geeked up. Anthony Richardson was an afterthought a few days ago. All of a sudden, he's got all this hype. He's a great quarterback now. He's got to move up the draft board. So we can't fall into the trap of the NFL, who I think creates people.
It does. I mean, we have evidence after evidence after evidence of that being the case. WoodwardSports.com chat thread. Paul Thomas, Woodward Sports, Trendsetters, good show, guys. We're a fine local sports talk show.
We try our best.
We try our best. That is right. But again, for me, I have to get comfortable with being uncomfortable. And I'm already... It's more than I thought it would be. It's almost like bluffing in poker, Terry. You know, like inside you're really, really nervous. And it's a little more intense than I thought it would be because I saw this was going to happen. He is elite athletically, and he has that frame. You saw him without the shirt on and all that stuff. I mean, looking all rocked up and everything, all 240 of them.
Hire him at the Chippendales. Let him do that. Let him get his little thong and do all like this. Don't make him Lions quarterback.
I know, but Terry, this is what you have to, because what's my objective with all this? To get Jalen Carter home.
Yes.
And I can guarantee that if 4 quarterbacks go in the top 5. I can guarantee it. So I have to encourage this hype, even if I'm flying really close to the sun, Terry. You feel me?
Or have Will Anderson as a backup. As a backup prize. That's the booby prize.
That it's the booby prize.
That
Absolutely
would be
right.
wonderful.
So that's where we need to go. So Sam Flannel, real quick. The combine, it helped our case, didn't it? Because Anthony Richardson, you're getting those vibes, dude. He is the forbidden fruit.
He is.
And somebody's going to bite into that apple.
Absolutely. And unfortunately, or fortunately for the Lions, there actually is precedent. Josh Allen, he wasn't good in college. He had a 56% completion percentage in college in his senior year. He had a terrible game against Iowa when that was kind of his chance to show out against a Power 5 opponent. And Josh Allen has worked out in the NFL. Anthony Richardson's kind of the same. A freak athlete, great arm, not very good in college, 53.8% completion percentage. His 1 year as a starter, 4 games in which he completed less than 50% of his passes, 6-6 as a starter, including 2 wins in which he completed 8 passes for 66 yards, and 1 where he had 10 completions and 2 interceptions. Anthony Richardson did nothing at Florida to show that he was going to be an NFL quarterback, but that combine, it's enticing. I know, not for me, but for people who want to sort of have that confirmation bias and maybe someone can fix him. Anthony Richardson is kind of the ultimate project, kind of like what Josh Allen was seen as, and he worked out. And a lot of people are using that example.
You know what? I'm going to stop. I've been in a little bit of a bitchy mood today because I'm fearful the Lions are going to take him. But that's not going to happen.
No way.
Now, the other day, what was the sweatshirt that Brad Holmes had on?
Villain.
What happens with Jalen Carter? He gets arrested.
He's a villain.
So I think all this, and then Anthony Richardson.
2 misdemeanors, by the way.
Right,
I want that on the record.
2,
Got charged with 2 misdemeanors.
Then Richardson jumps up the draft board. Guys, I'm going to stop bitching because that means Jalen Carter is coming to the Lions. Bam. You'll even be smiling because he's going to have a little rookie contract. I'll smile because the dude can play. And Detroit will smile because it's going to work out. And you're going to go see Anthony Richardson go somewhere and sit for 2 years.
I want that to happen. Wherever we're doing our draft show from, if that happens, I'm going to pull an Adam. I'm going to stand on top of the table and say, I created this. I made this. I made this possible. And I want all of Detroit's adulation for it if it goes down that way,
Go
Terry.
ahead. We'll genuflect in front of you. Whatever you do or whatever you did, that works. Thank you.
This show, the movement. We started the movement. The Anthony Richardson. I think that we're home with 3 of them. Will Anderson, C.J. Stroud, and Anthony Richardson. I think we're home with 3 of them going in the top 5.
What about
Really?
C.J. Stroud?
We need one more. Bryce Young, C.J. Stroud, and Anthony Richardson. We got 3 of them. We got to get Will Levis in there too. We got to.
He had a good combine.
You know, Will Anderson's going to go up there in the top 5. So you already got your 4.
Then there we go.
You already set.
No. I need 4 quarterbacks in there, Terry. I need my 4 quarterbacks. Bryce Young, C.J. Stroud. I believe Anthony Richardson's in there. That's 3. We need 1 more, and then mathematically we're home.
Okay. Who are going to hype up now?
Well, Will Levis had a decent. It's just the Anthony Richardson porno that was going on, may have hurt Will Levis to some degree in terms of top 5.
Yeah, but maybe he will go a little further down in the top 5. That would be amazing because if the Lions can still get a Jalen Carter or a Will Anderson, I will be doing backflips as well. I think all of wherever we are filming the draft show will be doing backflips. But Will Levis, he had what was it? His velocity was the best. He had a good combine too, but Anthony Richardson, even as somebody who doesn't believe in him, when you watch him do those things on the combine, you're just kind of like, wow. If he was anything but a quarterback, if he was just an athlete, but he chose to be quarterback.
You do have another caveat up there. The Indianapolis Colts, they almost always do something stupid. So, they might draft a cornerback. Who knows? But they'll take one of those quarterbacks.
Oh, they're definitely going to take one of the quarterbacks. I'm banking on them.
I'm banking on them.
Oh, cornerback? The
They'll
Colts?
do something dumb.
I hope not, man. I hope not. Cobezilla says Carter ain't making it past pick number 3. And that's fine, though, because the math of the situation. If I can get 4 quarterbacks in that top 5, I'm getting one of them. I'm getting him or Anderson.
I'm with you. And that's why the other thing you have on the table is being willing to trade up. If you think this is a generational talent, then you trade up for Carter. If you have to give up 2 second-round picks, you have to give up the 18, go for it. And every draft that I've witnessed in the NFL, I've always said trade down, trade down, trade down. Not this year. If you can get this guy who's a generational player, you trade up. I mean, I think it's more important for the Lions to have one great player than 3 solid players.
Right. Dave Swaniger says Tyree Wilson's a guy, not Will Levis. Tyree's moving into the top 5. The Cardinals are supposed to be all over him. But, Dave, here's the thing. Here's where it's going to work. Because the Raiders, Anthony Richardson reeks of the Raiders.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
He does.
It reeks of the Raiders and that Jamarcus Russell, type mold. Arizona's going to convince him they're going to have to move up there to get him.
Can I give myself credit for something?
I've been taking credit. Go ahead.
Jamarcus Russell. He was the hot name. And here's what I said before he's drafted. He's fat. He's sluggish. He's not an NFL quarterback. I was proven right on that one.
What about when he threw 65 yards from his knees, Terry?
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that. Almost changed my mind.
Almost.
But he was still fat. He was still sluggish. That's what I go by.
There'll be no change in your mind when it comes to Seafood Fest at Big Boy. Catch it while you can. Seafood Lent favorites like shrimp Alfredo, shrimp stir fry, and the all-new fish sandwich. And, of course, the staple, the all-you-can-eat fish fry buffet on Friday nights at Big Boy. Get to your local Big Boy today.
Fellas, let's be honest. We like things to be easy. We like simple stuff, like sports 7 days a week. We like things uncomplicated, like Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. Open 10 to 8, 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. Sign in, sit down, watch your favorite team play. And before you know it, your hair will be game ready. Open 10 to 8, 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. It's wicked awesome.
3 NBA championships. Detroit fans were there. 11 Stanley Cups. Detroit fans were there. 4 World Series wins. Detroit fans were there.
And that one Lions playoff win in 1991, yeah, Detroit fans were there.
Woodward Sports, where the fans are.
Ruhl here for Chili Peppers Tanning. We find the cleanest salons in the D. Spotless, sanitized rooms, and trained and certified tanning professionals. You can join the Pepper Club. Get all the best deals. They'll beat the competitors' prices by at least $5. And while you're at it, don't forget you can pick up the Australian Gold, Designer Skin, Caltan, and Swedish Beauty Lotions. Go to chilipepperstanning.com. 27 locations. More on the way. The hottest bulbs, the hottest deals, the darkest tans. They are your vitamin D headquarters. It's Chili Peppers Tanning.
Now, can we still say this now that Fish is not here? Chili Peppers Tan.
Absolutely. Good luck to Fish on his future endeavors,
Yes.
right? That's how you say that when somebody leaves, right?
Okay, yes.
Good luck on your future endeavors, sir.
And we support everything you do.
WoodwardSports.com chat thread. We're talking the combine and the combine porn that comes along with it. Some people can't get enough of it. And look, Anthony Richardson helped the Lions this weekend. I believe that. I believe that in my heart. Somebody will make a move, and that will increase the likelihood of one of the 2 defensive pillars, I guess you could say, of this draft, in Carter or Will Anderson possibly making their way to the Lions. WoodwardSports.com chat thread. Josh S. Neal might be the laziest scout in Detroit media. Well, number one, Josh, I'm not a scout.
And he's not lazy. Here, let me defend the guy here. This mug comes in with all kinds of papers. He studies the salary cap. He does all kinds of crap nobody else would do. And now you're going to call him the laziest in Detroit media? No way.
No way. That is where I draw the line on that one, Josh.
I mean, he's got toilet paper hanging out his pocket with like little salary cap figures on it.
I wouldn't go that far.
Sick. Well,
I do have it on the little machine here, though, right in front of me.
Okay.
Jack Harrington says, will Adam get high at the draft party? Minus 20,000 on yes.
Oh, yeah, that's a no-brainer.
that is a no-brainer, though. Can't wait, though. Does it get you excited, though, for the draft a little more? Like, I know the theater of it all, Terry. You're a KG veteran. You're past the theater of it all. But it's kind of like spring training in baseball where it signals, summer's going to happen sometime soon. I think the Combine does that with the draft.
I'm happy for the people because I know they're going to have a good time. And there's that carrot that's dangling in front of me that Jalen Carter could be a Detroit Lion. That's the only thing that gets me excited.
Are you feeling it in your bones? Real Cream of Wheat says you don't get two furnaces by being lazy.
That's
true. I suppose you could, but, anyway.
You can't fool everybody. So if you got two furnaces, you're straight.
Two furnaces of burning ambition. We're not going to talk about the heavyweights being lazy. We're not going to say that. But yeah, it's just, for me, I like what I saw. That helps my end goal. I want the Lions to come away. And look, fair play to the Lions, too. Because Dan Campbell and Brad Holmes, they both played the part a little bit.
They sure did.
When they spoke to the media about everything, they played the part.
Yeah. They said, we might take a quarterback. I don't know. We'll see. That's playing the part because now some teams say, the Lions going to take Anthony Richardson? So somebody might want to trade up for the Lions spot and they can get some more assets. But say no because Jalen Carter needs to be a Lion.
He does. And if that happens, you heard it here first. We take care of it. Super Juggernaut 87 says the Mike Mamula effect. He sucked in college, only trained combine skills, and broke a bunch of records. Eagles trade up. It's the biggest turd nugget in the history of the NFL draft. I will say this, though, Super Nugget, to kind of back up your point a little bit, Terry, and we touched on this a few minutes ago, but I'm curious to get kind of your expanded thoughts on it. The combine to me, and I'm not going to say it's pointless or anything like that. It's not pointless, and the reason is the medicals, all the medical work that goes into it and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. Teams, training staff, they're able to get their hands on the guys and X-rays and their files and all that kind of stuff. So that is where all the medical decisions are made. Insert Nakobe Dean there. But Terry, I think to some degree though, we've seen an increase in Fool's Gold because of what Super Juggernaut just talked about. It is an event that you can train for. And guys do. And I touched on that earlier. You got linebackers that played at 260, 265, showing up for the combine at 248 so they can shave 0.2 of a second off their 40 time. That's right. Real.
And they get trainers to teach them how to run because these guys don't know how to run.
They're not track stars.
Yeah, they're not. But they get guys, and they put their little arm back here, and they teach them what to do, how to breathe. And so, you're going to get better times. I tell you where else that happens, too. First week of training camp. What do NFL teams do the first week of training camp? They have these guys work out in shorts and short sleeve shirts. And then every time he said, damn, so-and-so was faster than I thought he was because he doesn't have pads on. He's not wearing a helmet. He's not trying to square somebody up. So then you're thinking, man, the Lions draft class is the best ever. You think that because they're faster than they've ever been before, but it's like a mind game that the NFL plays with its fans.
Yeah. Casey says Jalen Carter won't get drafted from the county jail. It's 2 misdemeanors, man. He ain't going to jail.
No, and he can play. Now.
And that's the bigger end of it. He can play.
If he had a permanent injury where he couldn't play, they'd throw his ass in jail. But the fact is, he can help the NFL. He can help an NFL team. And people still talking about him being a generational player. He's not going to jail. And if he does, he'll be in there for 48 hours. And then on draft night, he'd be wearing some purple suit saying, here I am, what's up?
giving the hug to Commissioner Goodell.
To the commissioner.
Yeah, absolutely. Jason Moose, Bijan Robinson looked impressive. Sam Flannel. Because I didn't get a chance to see Robinson's workouts. I had my screen time limit had kicked in after the whole quarterback experiments and experience. Did you get a chance to see it by chance at all? And have you heard that too? I know you were around like the earlier show today.
Oh yeah.
Have people cooled on that? Because I don't hear his name a whole heck of a lot anymore.
I mean, I still hear it. And I think there's a lot of people that are open to the possibility of Bijan Robinson with a second first-round pick, or if they want to trade, whatever moves that can be made in the draft to get him. And it's a tough one because the running back class is very deep. A guy like Chase Brown, he's one that I really like, who was from Illinois, of course, who shredded Michigan in that game at Ann Arbor. He also showed out in the combine. But Bijan Robinson, the question about him is, can he come straight into the NFL and be one of the 5 best running backs in the league right away? If he is for 4 to 5 years, I think it's worth it behind this offensive line. But picking a running back in the first round is very risky. I mean, Saquon Barkley, for example, he was arguably a top 3 running back in the NFL the second he stepped on the field, but it still wasn't worth it because the Giants never won anything with him and he was injured.
They won a playoff game.
They did win
him.
a playoff game in his 5th year.
Yeah, would you take that?
No, not 5th year play.
And
this team helped.
It's the Lions.
Yeah,
I mean, not on this Lions team with the way that they just had a winning season. No, absolutely not. But yeah, Bijan Robinson to me is a generational type prospect. It's just the position has been devalued.
Yeah,
I don't think he is because of the position. Now, I have talked to a number of NFL running backs who play the position and said that we're dinosaurs. They don't respect running backs. They just dispose of them. Chase Brown, I'd rather have a cornerback at 18 and Chase Brown later than Bijan Robinson because the Lions have an excellent offensive line. Now, if they had some porous offensive line, I'd be saying, you know what, they need to get Bijan Robinson because their running game sucks. But the bottom line is a number of these guys can run through a hole and get 15, 20 yards. That's not exclusive to Bijan Robinson. So if you've got the offensive line and you get a decent running back who doesn't fumble, you're going to be in good shape.
Sure. And Terry, for the record, I would probably go that route as well. Pick a defender at 18 and then maybe get a Chase Brown in the 3rd round if he even falls that far because he had an impressive combine. I'm just saying that the Bijan Robinson thing, I wouldn't be pounding the table, although I think Chase Brown has a chance behind this offensive line if he goes to the Lions to be on par and obviously a much better value.
Yeah, that's fair. And I think I'm kind of with you, too. I don't think anybody would be pounding the table. Yep. But at the same time, if that was the route they did go, I don't get those vibes, though, from Brad Holmes.
You know what? Bijan Robinson is playing the game, too.
Yep.
You know what he said?
Barry Sanders.
I want to be like Barry Sanders. So now you're in Detroit, you hear that and say, get another Barry Sanders. Let's get this guy. So everybody's playing the game. We got to be smart and not fall for the hype.
Right. But this is where, again, I'll always rest well. There's a GM in town that gets it, that understands it, that knows how it works. Just like in the insurance game.
Absolutely.
There's one agent that gets it, that understands it, that knows how it works.
And that's Swiss Insurance, of course, because be sure to check with Swiss Insurance this week for your commercial insurance review. Swiss can help make sure you have the proper coverage. Swiss Insurance gives a shot and you won't be disappointed. Email them at mark@swissins.com. That is mark@swissins.com.
Love Woodward Sports? Love wearing clothes? Then you should be wearing Woodward Sports clothes. Check out our full line of merch at woodwardsports.com. Just click on Shop. We have all your favorite designs, like Dan Campbell kneecaps, Beverly Hills Golf, Woodward Golf, and of course, our own logoed out merchandise. Men, women, infants, kids all love Woodward Sports. Impress your friends. Impress your boss. Impress your dog. Buy Woodward Sports merch today.
By now you know me, Christina Gennari, as the obvious choice in real estate. And you know my website, soldchristina.com, as your #1 resource for buying or selling your home. Myself, along with my amazing staff, pride ourselves on making your home buying and selling experience a relaxing and easy one. Come see why we are the obvious choice. Christina Gennari at soldchristina.com, the obvious choice in real estate.
Woodward Avenue, the first paved road in America. Woodward Sports, the first sports network born in Detroit and made for Detroit.
Back at it here live at Feldman Chevrolet in Novi, Michigan's #1 Chevrolet dealer. Neal Ruhl, Terry Foster here in for DMAC. We have Sam Flannel. We have JB Smoove in the house, and of course, Westy, Alex Westfall, who will be one of your in-house camera operators at the Detroit Pistons game tonight. For those of you that are going to be out there,
for the 900 people who are going to go see the Pistons
you will see Alex Westfall out there. Saints, depending on who you listen to, have come to an agreement with Derek Carr. My understanding is it's going to be a 4-year deal. The numbers, as far as the money, has not been released yet, which leads the question, how can the Saints sign Derek Carr when they're $18 million in the hole as far as the salary cap works? And the answer to that is they don't have to be cap compliant until March 15th. So we have seen one of the dominoes already move. They, in turn, have released my man, Jameis Winston. So that cuts $4.4 million off that number right there.
And it cuts 30 interceptions off the roster, too.
Oh, stop, Terry. You can't have a 30-30 season without 30 touchdowns and 30 interceptions.
The only 30-30 you should have is those ESPN documentaries. Not with a quarterback.
Yeah, so if they release him, see, here's the problem that they're going to run into. If they release Winston before March 17th, they'll have $11.2 million of dead cap tied up in Jameis Winston. If they release him after June 1st, it'll be $2.8 million in dead cap in 2023 and $8.4 dead cap in 2024. So they're going to have to, I think hand is going to be a little forced. So they'll have to go ahead and chop him off before and just get all the dead cap off the books this year. So the cap's real, everybody. It's real. You can make moves and stuff like that, but you're going to see a lot of that.
And all that's coming from the laziest guy in the media.
The laziest guy in the media right here, absolutely.
Thanks for informing us.
Yes. NFL's teams do not need to be salary cap compliant until March 15th at 4 p.m.
Okay.
So when you flip through all the little websites and stuff like that, I recommend Spotrac. That's the one that I've kind of grown up on. That is when you will see all those red numbers go away because they have to. So there is that.
Is that going to be like a big day for you?
It's my birthday too, March 15th.
Oh,
I mean, it's going to be hype. Okay. It's really going to be hype,
man.
We
have to have a bourbon that day.
A cap-compliant bourbon.
Yes. Hopefully it won't snow.
Absolutely. But, hey, we were A Dirty Burrito says, I was told this show doesn't do cheap shots. No need for that tone, Terry. Well, number one, this show does do cheap shots.
Yeah.
So that is number one. They're based in fact. Now cheap shot is, that depends up to your definition of it. I will do criticism. Instead of calling them cheap shots, I prefer to say they're criticism rooted in fact.
It's true. Or how about we're abrasive? We can
I like
be abrasive.
That. We can be abrasive at times. There is. So there is that as well. But yeah, the WoodwardSports.com chat thread, man, it's cooking right now. Appreciate everybody jumping in there, getting your thoughts out there. All right, so the combine has come and gone, and certainly, we will continue to discuss it throughout the week as news comes out. Now the attention, though, I think, Terry, as far as your Detroit Lions is concerned, moves to free agency and the new league year and everything that goes along with it. The Lions right now have the second youngest roster in the National Football League.
They're babies.
They are some babies out there, and which is what happens when you totally reconstruct a roster, which is what happens when your biggest free agent acquisition last year was Trey Flowers and Jamie Collins, who are no longer on the team. That's how that stuff works. You have to plug rookies in there.
Absolutely.
T, you've been around for a minute, all right? So I lean on your take here on this. With free agency coming about, how important is it that the Lions sign a veteran? And when I say sign a veteran, I'm not talking about like some high-priced, into the road, to quote Boys to Men, old guy. Just a veteran, an adult in the room, if you will. How important is that?
I don't think it's important at all.
Thank you. Okay.
The NFL is not the NBA where you need babysitters now and then. It's not the National Hockey League where you need somebody to settle young players down. First of all, a lot of veterans are not interested in being a mentor. They're trying to get paid. They're trying to get their playing time. And the hell with these young second and third year guys. I don't have time for that. I'm just looking out for myself. That's unique to the NFL because it's such a cutthroat league. Nobody cares about you. Management doesn't care about you. And so I think a lot of veteran players don't care about the young guys. Yeah, they'll sit and talk to them, have lunch with them, and say, hey, buddy boy, wish you the best. But it's not really that important. Now, if you're going to get veterans, get the mid-level guys, the guys that the fans talk about. Those guys definitely are not going to help your team because, one, they're old. Two, they've already gotten paid. And three, they get fat and sassy. And I just think that whole veteran thing for the NFL is way overplayed.
I would think, too, with the Lions, when you look at the room, right, when you look at, Aiden Hutchinson seems to have kind of a veteran mentality already. Like
Right.
he's going to go to work. Malcolm Rodriguez, it's kind of the same. I get the same, feel from him as well. He's here to work, man. Like that's it. I think like when you talk about young locker rooms in the National Football League and a need for veterans and all those kinds of things, I think the Lions roster, while it is young, it plays older, if that makes any sense.
It does make sense. Aiden Hutchinson is, I don't know if he's grooming for it, but he will be team captain, at least on the defense one day. Guys have taken to him. Rodrigo, although he works hard and stuff, I think he's still like, damn, I'm in the National Football League, so I'm not quite sure if he's one of those guys you can rely on for leadership. But he could be one of those silent leaders because the coaches like the way that he works in the room. I don't know if he's going to say a lot. For instance, people always said Chris Spielman was a great leader for the Lions. He wasn't. He was a self-motivator.
Right.
He made sure that he was straight, and it's not like he didn't talk to teammates, but his main thing was, I'm at such a high level as far as motivating myself. I don't think he had time to motivate everybody else.
And it was with him, too, and there was a lot of Barry in this, too. He made sure this circle was straight.
Right.
And I admire that. I wish more people in the real world were like that, where, worry about this circle here before you go out fixing everybody else's issues. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Because I remember one time he had a torn pectoral.
Oh, my gosh, yeah.
And
they drained the blood out of it after the game.
Oh, man, you could see it. It was like he had his shirt off. It was like really messed up. And I think somebody asked, Chris, when's the next time you're going to play? He's like, next game. And he did.
Yes.
But he channeled all those energies to make sure that no matter how injured he was or that he was going to play.
Right.
And at a high level.
Absolutely. Sean Waldron says, Neal, I'm ignorant on it. Does dead cap count towards the total cap? It does, depending on how it's structured, where you're hearing a lot of talk about June 1st, where you get a post-June 1st cut line, because that technically is like the fiscal NFL New Year on June 1st. So there are ways. I believe you have two guys, without getting like overly dorky about it, I believe there's two designations you can have post-June 1st cuts where you can break up that dead cap hit. So like when we say, you can have $11.2 million of dead cap on this year's books, or if you do it after June 1st, it'll shrink to $8.2 million on this year and then $3 million the following year, depending on how it's structured. You can see that. But in generalities, yes, dead cap counts towards your total cap, and that restricts the amount of money that you can spend. The thing is, like when you hear this, when you say, oh, they cut player X who was slated to make $4 million, was slated to make $14 million, but has $4 million of dead cap, so they saved $10 million on the cap. That is true, because that $14 million that he was going to get counts. You know what I'm saying? That counts towards your cap, so when you get rid of him, you do save that $10 million, but you ultimately have to pay that dead cap number. So I know that's a lot to process, and it's a lot of accounting, which wasn't necessarily my strength in college. Yeah, T-Foss is riveted right now.
I am.
And he hates money. So, that's what it is, unless you're giving it to him.
I hate invisible money.
Yeah,
It's
you
money
do.
we can't see.
Lorena Rios says, Neal, why are you wearing a white cap of the Whitecaps? That is because this iteration of the Detroit Tigers is basically the Whitecaps. So
Yeah, they might be as good as the Whitecaps.
yeah,
Perhaps.
so that's why. So I will choose to pay attention to the Whitecaps.
So are you going to go any games in baseball season? Or are you just
I
gonna
will.
Take it off?
I was talking about that with my wife this weekend, as a matter of fact. I will. And I will go, and it'll be very spur of the moment, and I'll go see Miguel Cabrera play a couple more times.
Okay.
Not expecting like the same, but more or less just to reminisce on how it used to be.
I'm not going to reminisce about Miguel Cabrera. I may go try to get a Miggy bobblehead or a free Miggy bat or whatever they're giving out. I may do that, but I'm not going there to reminisce. I've seen enough of him. He's had a great career, and I just don't need to see him ground out to second base 4 times in a game and then strike out.
That's fine.
Yeah, I'm just not nostalgic. I like you when you're at your prime, and then when you're a shell, I'm not going out just to see you play.
Okay. Doug Fungus says, with cash over cap, the cap only comes due like every 7 years. Quit pretending like you can't skirt the cap. Well, Doug, cash over cap, the Rams are a good example of that right now with what they've done. And you're seeing everybody be released, be on the today. Allen Robinson was announced. He was given permission to seek his own trade as well. When you pay a huge amount of cash up front, you do have to pay for that in terms of the bonus when it's stretched out. And you can stretch that number out over 5 years. So that number gets reduced, but you still have to pay for it. Now, the trick is when you pay that big number and stretch out over 5 years, if you made your way through 3 of it, it's not as huge because you only have 2 left to pay. You do pay for it. Ask the Saints. Ask them. They're paying for it right now.
You pay for it after you win a Super Bowl.
But you pay for it after you win a Super Bowl. That is true. And we'll see that with the Rams. All cash over cap means is that franchises have the ability to cut the big check now. They have the cash on hand to do it. You can stretch that out over the 5 years, but they can write the big check now. Not all ownership groups are willing to do that. Like I know Stafford's cap number last year was like $18 million. He made $63 million in cash or whatever that, $59 million, whatever that number was. Mm-hmm. That's what he got. He got his paper, T-Foss.
And he's happy.
And he's happy.
That's all that matters.
That is all that matters. Just like when you're in the working out game at the gym, the only one that matters, Planet Fitness, home of the judgment-free zone. You can work out in a non-intimidating, judgment-free atmosphere. You can work out for just $10 per month. You want all the perks? You want to be a big baller, shot caller? Get 20-inch rims on the Impala. You can do that. Or you can be a Black Card member at Planet Fitness and enjoy use of the amenities, the unlimited tanning, the hydro massage, the massage chairs, the total body enhancement, and maybe most importantly, access to over 2,000 Planet Fitnesses worldwide with unlimited guest privileges. You want all that? Pull in the parking lot of Planet Fitness. You'll pass a couple on the way home. Or jump on that computer right now. Go to planetfitness.com. It's Planet Fitness, where your fitness is essential.
At work and at home, we're there with smarter security solutions. Featuring complete automation with customized alerts and more. For over 90 years, we've been the company that's been counted on to protect what matters most, all with personalized service and care. Right now, for a limited time, receive a free video device plus free installation with a new home system. Guardian Alarm. We protect Michigan.
Get a shot up. This is for the win. All of Detroit's sports teams live on Woodward. All of Detroit's sports coverage lives on Woodward Sports. Driving the best in Detroit sports coverage.
On and poppin', pulling up on the second hour of the show. Big D Energy Woodward Sports Network. We are live at Feldman Chevrolet in Novi, Michigan's #1 Chevy dealer. Basically the Super Bowl champion of Chevy dealers in the state of Michigan. You need a Chevy? This is the move. That is the play. Terry, you can attest. Sam Flannel can attest. They have both purchased automobiles, so they know what the deal is here. You want the red Corvette right behind me? You better get it before T-Foss is done with the show.
I actually cannot drive a red Corvette.
Why is that?
Because I'm black in the suburbs. You know I'm getting pulled over, so you better You better take this car out.
All right. My name is Neal Ruhl. That's Terry Foster. We have Sam Flannel. We have JB Smoove as well.
Somebody will shoot me, man. I have to get the blue Corvette.
Yeah. Okay, I got you. Hey, Feldman Chevrolet. They can take care of that for you.
I know they got different colors.
Yeah.
Neal can drive that car.
All right, I got you. But T-Foss will take the blue Corvette, he said. So that one is out there. People talking about the Big Burger Challenge at the West Michigan Whitecaps games as well. So,
don't they have those like 5-pound burgers or something there?
I think it's something like that.
I've only been to one game there.
Yeah. I've been to a couple of them.
Okay.
Been to a couple of them. Cameron Maben was out there. We went out there.
Oh.
Yeah.
I interviewed him out there.
Did you really?
Yeah.
All right. So we were in the same circle. We were in the same circles there around the same time.
I thought I was interviewing a basketball player, not a baseball player.
You did, huh? WoodwardSports.com chat thread. Klomsaw says, I've seen the Mud Hens play at the Durham Bulls when V-Mart was on a rehab stint in like 2013. Well, there were a lot of rehab stints.
Mm-hmm.
There were. So, second hour of the show, we talked a lot about the Combine. We touched on the Lions free agency as well, maybe some of the moves that you might see. And as far as the Red Wings are concerned, as far as the Lions are concerned with this Anthony Richardson stuff, we're going to do this 100 times, but I just want to tap the surface of it, Terry, because you know where I stand with it. You do have to reassess, right? Is Jared Goff that guy for you? Because to me, he is. And there are mitigating factors to it, the financial cost, because I know I love money.
I know you.
And
do.
as these contracts continue to go higher and higher and higher, he becomes more and more of a deal by the day. I think he's 11th or 12th highest cap hit at the quarterback slot next year. We'll see the details of Carr's money. It's just, for me, that's why all this Anthony Richardson talk is foolishness. And especially when you go back to it, Terry, if you're the betting favorite to win your division, then you fancy yourself a contender, and that number 6 pick can take you over the top, can drive it home.
Right. But the number 6 pick at quarterback, if you start him, cannot.
Correct.
They can get you 2 games above the Chicago Bears for next year, but the goal should be win this division next year. And your best shot is Jared Goff. Now, I'm sure there's some people out there, and Neal just said you can win a Super Bowl with Jared Goff. He doesn't know anything. He's lazy. First of all, I don't think the Lions are going to win a Super Bowl with this group. But can you? Yes, you can. You possibly could. But the key is building a great defense to go along with a very good offense. Make sure your quarterback is not turning the ball over 2 or 3 times a game, and you can make a deep playoff run. I just don't think the Lions, on their first attempt at being a real NFL organization, it's not going to end up in the championship.
No, and I agree with you from that perspective. But, Terry, that number 6 pick can be the difference between you winning a division and not winning the division.
It can.
That's real.
And it will be.
Bam,
will be.
There you go.
That's why you got to get that number 6 pick, and the 18 pick is important too. And probably more important, but we don't talk about it, is the 2nd and 3rd round picks. If the Lions over the years nailed their 2nd round picks or did pretty good at them, this team would be pretty damn good now.
Right.
But they keep swinging and miss, like Miguel Cabrera, swinging and miss.
Don't talk that way. There will be no Miguel Cabrera slander. Greatest right-handed hitter of our generation, arguably.
What about Albert Pujols?
I said arguably.
Okay, I'm going to argue Albert Pujols.
Okay, all right. Cabrera number 2 then.
Okay. Is he
Is that
number
fair?
2 right now?
Is Albert Pujols number 1 right now?
Nope. I'm just saying he's had his moments.
Right.
Great right-handed guy, but he swings and misses now.
There will be no slander.
Notice he doesn't pull home runs anymore.
There will be no slander. He hit one Saturday, right?
That doesn't count.
He hit one Saturday, T-Foss.
Doesn't count.
I'm not saying he's going to hit 30 home runs. I'm saying he was arguably the greatest right-handed hitter of a generation.
Fine, but what do you expect out of him this year?
Well, nothing, but this is part of the cost of playing poker, though. So Albert Pujols had the same thing. He was making his $40 million.
Right.
We're going to see this with Mike Trout. We're going to see this But Manny Machado, we're gonna see it, man.
I know this is part of the process, and I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm saying I have the right to make fun of him now.
I disagree. I disagree.
A lot of pitches.
Because if it wasn't for the setup, you know why they do this with the contracts, right? You know why they do this? To evade paying the luxury tax. That's why they do it. That's why they stretch them out like this.
And also to sign the player, because then the player, if they had offered Miguel a 3-year deal and underpaid for him, he would have just walked. He said, I'm out of here.
Right.
So you want to get him for his prime, and then you want to make a little money off of him by selling trinkets with Miggy on them.
Well, and you want to stay under the luxury tax if you can.
That too.
That's probably most important out of making a couple bucks selling trinkets. But anyway, though, getting back to the discussion.
So we're going to fight all summer. I can't bring up.
Yes, we are. If you come in here with Miguel Cabrera slander. If you come out here with Miguel Cabrera slander, we're gonna have words as the season goes on.
I tell you what, show some balls. Every time Miguel Cabrera bounces a dribbler to second base, you owe me a bourbon. I'm not saying if he strikes out, you don't owe me. Pop-ups, you don't owe me. But dribblers to second base, I even kept it to one position, you owe me a bourbon.
Okay, but you retroactively owe me a bourbon or many bourbons for the Triple Crowns, the MVPs.
I didn't know you then.
Clomp Sauce says, what did Albert do with the Angels? Exactly 0. Exactly, Clomp Sauce. You are correct.
Yeah, but he came back home and played pretty well.
People Pleaser says also, which means that he had a first one, but whatever. He says also, if Goff's your guy, do you want to re-sign him? I'm cool right now. I'm cool with the number. I'll revisit that when it's time to revisit it. See, people act like it's binary. Like, all right, if he's your guy, then you have to re-sign him. No, I don't. Still got 2 years left at a very, very friendly number. All the heavy lifting's done. There's hardly any dead cap to walk away from it. You don't have to do anything.
Athletes are disposable. What you do is you get everything you can out of them, milk them dry, pay them, and then send them off into the sunset. When Jared Goff's contract is up, and maybe you might want to resign him for something short after that, I don't know. Whenever you feel that he's productive, you sign him for that amount of time. Then after that, see ya. No hard feelings, because there is no loyalty in sports, and there shouldn't be. I know some people say, well, if a player is good, well, he should stay here because of loyalty. No, he shouldn't. There's no loyalty. And there's no loyalty on this end, too. You milk Jared Goff. When you see him making too much money and being unproductive, you tell him to get the hell out of here.
That's the way that it works, man.
Right. I'm not even going to give you a bologna sandwich. Just get the frick out of here.
Lorena Rios says Javi needs to prove himself worthy this year. Lorena, look, that man swung and missed at 51% of the sliders that were thrown to him last year. That's egregious.
It is.
There ain't no fixing that. And what do you have? Almost 30 errors at shortstop last year? Disaster.
You could fix that. Every time he swings and misses at a slider, you burn him with a cigarette. Hey, I bet you that 51% goes down to 25%. He's like, man, I ain't getting burned again. That hurt.
Oh, my gosh. WoodwardSports.com chat thread. Terry doesn't they said you're not going to drive the Corvette because you don't want that being black while on a Monday charge, right?
No, yeah. And it's still near the first of the month.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. William Rhodes says, wouldn't it be worth it to extend him now, though, considering the quarterback cap hits are going to keep going up? I mean, if he's your guy long term, if you're convinced of that, if you don't need any more convincing, then I would say, yeah, sure, why not? Especially with Daniel Jones holds a key to all this, man.
Sadly.
He really does. This cat's out there in the streets asking for $45 million, thinking he's going to get it. And you know what? He might.
Yeah.
Because it's the Giants.
That's sad, man. Let's go back to contracts. I remember this town was on fire because Isaiah Thomas signed an 8-year, $16 million contract. Not $16 million a year. It was 8 years, $16 million. Everybody's, oh my God, how can you make that much money? Daniel Jones now, who can't even hold a candle to Jared Goff, wants $45 million. Things have just gotten out of hand.
Right. David Gerard says there's still too many Detroit Avilas on the Tigers team this year. We'll see how it goes. You know what, David? I'm taking that. Because I've said this all season long, and we'll get into it as baseball gets closer. I have two camps. I have the Scott Harris Tigers and I have the Avila Tigers. And they're not interchangeable to me. I can be critical of the Avila Tigers while letting it play out for the Scott Harris Tigers.
I hear you, but there's still a common denominator. All of them are the Chris Ilitch Tigers.
That's fair. Fair.
That's going to be a problem.
Yeah, that is fair. So we'll see how that all shakes out. And if you have a big project, you can see how it shakes out too by tapping one name.
Absolutely. And also, if you have a bog project, of course, which are far more prevalent around here, because at Alta, uptime matters. Alta Equipment has everything you need to get the job done. Do you have a bog project coming up? I know you guys do, but Alta Rent has you covered. Call them today at 844-GO-TO-ALTA. That's 844-GO-TO-ALTA.
As chilly weather approaches, Big Boy's got the perfect comfort meals for you. Try our hearty classic meatloaf or our creamy Cajun chicken Alfredo. These will be sure to leave you craving for more. How about breakfast? Our stuffed potato pancakes are back with our Lumberjack, Blockbuster, and Santa Fe Garden. These potato pancakes will definitely fill you up. Whether it's for breakfast, lunch, or dinner, come stock up on the perfect comfort meal today. We'll see you soon at Big Boy.
My name is Lee. I've lost 35 pounds on the Custom Health Center program. So the three biggest benefits that I've gotten from this program has been, I'm not snoring anymore, I have a lot of energy, it's great, and oh, by the way, look at this. No, I'm just kidding. No, I'm just kidding.
Call us at 844-789-THIN or visit CustomHealthCenters.com for a free consultation and get started for as little as $5 a day.
And a miraculous catch! Follow us everywhere. Just search Woodward Sports on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, IG, and more.
The Fulling Warehouse in Hamtramck is the home of the original football bowling game. There are two ways to play, $12 unlimited open play or $120 lane reservation for up to 10 people. They also have a $2 mystery beer machine and a full bar. Check it out at FullingWarehouse.com.
Back at it here, second hour of the show, Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network, live at Feldman Chevrolet in Novi, Michigan's number one Chevrolet
Flannel
dealer.
Sam, real quick?
You can. We always have time for
Flannel
that.
Sam, do you have connections with Alta?
I do not.
You don't? Okay,
No.
so I was going to ask you, can you ask Alta to send a couple buggies down to District Detroit? Get things rolling down there?
That's a great question, actually.
A couple of those big earth movers and diggers.
Right, just dig up one of those parking lots.
Just drive back and forth just to
Right.
make it look like something's going on.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
That was Terry Foster, everybody.
I'm trying to help the city.
You are, Terry.
That's all.
You are, Terry. He is Terry Foster. My name's Neal Ruhl. We have Sam Flannel in the house. JB Smoove on the ones and twos. He's out here mixing and scratching as well. I did want to transition to the Red Wings a little bit, and it got lost in the wash to some degree with the trade deadline happening Friday right after we got off the air. We saw all the moves that the Red Wings made, and Steve Yzerman came out and talked to the media. And in the WoodwardSports.com chat thread, Philip C. says, when backing up the Tigers talk, he said yes. And now the same team owner is making Stevie the new Avila. And Philip, I disagree with that 1,000,000%. And the reason why is, number one, obviously with it being a salary cap league, you made a good point.
The Illiges can handle hockey. They can't handle baseball.
Why is that?
Because baseball, you're talking about boo-goo bucks. The NHL salary is like pocket change. They can handle that. They can be big wigs in that, but they can't in baseball. And Steve Yzerman, guys, day one, he told you this. Y'all better be patient because I'm going to take my time. And the thing is, he has so much cachet, he doesn't have to worry about his job. He doesn't have to cut corners. He has a game plan, and he's going to stick to it because Steve Yzerman will leave when Steve Yzerman wants to leave. So
do you get that, Terry? Do you get that feeling that he is, I don't want to say above the law, because Steve Yzerman's not that way. Like when he talks, he's respectful to everybody. Like
he's above the law.
Is he above the law?
Yes. He can talk himself out of a speeding ticket in this town. No, he you don't say anything to Steve Yzerman because he's already built a Stanley Cup winner. He became the captain here. He became respected in this city. So you believe in Steve. And I can't wait to get the T-shirt. Believe in Steve.
Yeah. Jason Moose says the Red Wings have lost 6 straight to bad teams. I think Ottawa's proven that they are not a bad team.
Correct.
It was interesting to me, Jason Moose. So he said the Red Wings have lost 6 straight to bad teams. And because I want to talk about how Yzerman addressed the media through all this. And like you make a Yzerman Avila comparison, that is definitely not the case, just in the way that they do their press conferences. Steve Yzerman tells you. Mm-hmm. He came out flat out, and this is why I have a ton of respect for him, even more than before. He flat out said, Terry, and this is what's wild, he said, we aren't good enough to win a championship, and I can't run the risk of losing my unrestricted free agents for nothing because we have to accumulate talent.
Right.
Hard stop.
And you know what? No kidding. I like when general managers say the same thing the fans say. We're not good. We're not going anywhere, so I had to make some moves for that. It's what fans say. Now, other general managers, they'll go up there and say, we're still a solid ball club, and we just didn't get the breaks, and blah, 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 because they're trying to protect their job. Steve Yzerman, man, just walks up there with his balls hanging out. Like, hey, not good enough. That's the way it is. What you going to say about it? What you going to do? Nothing.
It's just, I wonder, I mean, I know why, because he can. Why do you do anything?
Mm-hmm.
Because you can. It's just, why does he take the accountability when nobody else does? To stand up there, and he legit answers every single question. The way that, I mean, he can't get into specifics with Verana and stuff like that. All he can say is, hey, it was time for us to move on. I hope things work out for Verana, but my main obligation is to the Detroit Red Wings. And it was time to move on. That's it. That's all, man. Like, if anything, and I know people are upset. And Jason, I'm not, singling you out because I know people are upset because they feel like the rug. Do you think there's a segment of the fan base that feels like the rug was pulled out from underneath them?
There's a segment of the fan base wants Steve Yzerman fired.
Stop.
No, stop.
I have not seen that right now.
You keep looking.
Hey, hold on, somebody. If you're out there, if you're in this, if you're mad at Yzerman, drop me a comment in the WoodwardSports.com chat thread. I won't blow you up or anything like that. I'm curious to know if that's really the case.
There's some folks out there want his ass out of here. You'll find it.
No way.
Do your homework.
Who?
You.
Who?
You. Find those people out there. They're gonna hit you.
Brandon Katz, Ottawa traded for DeBrincat. Detroit's not getting any big-name free agents. They should have traded for Meyer. Again, Brandon, if you're doing that move, then you're keeping Bertuzzi. And Yzerman addressed the media and told them they weren't getting a contract done with Bertuzzi, right, which tells me he had a number, they had a number.
You know what? No, you know what it tells me? If Bertuzzi had a number, the Wings didn't know what it was. Yzerman didn't talk to Bertuzzi's agent for 3 months. If Bertuzzi wanted to stay in Detroit, he's calling his agent every day. Did you talk to Steve today?
Dylan Larkin went to Steve Yzerman and told him that. Yeah.
Well, then talk to him tomorrow. Next time we talk, you had better have talked to Steve Yzerman, else your ass is fired. He didn't call him. So that told me Bertuzzi's like, okay, whatever happens, happens. Not interested in being here. I want to go somewhere else.
Right. And it's talking about people are talking about that, like the Meyer thing. So if you know that you're not re-signing your unrestricted free agents, you have to move them. And if you're moving unrestricted free agents, you're not acquiring like a Timo Meyer or a $9 million a year guy. It doesn't make sense.
No, you'd be lucky to get anything. Because a lot of times unrestricted free agents just walk. And you're like, damn, I wish I would have traded this mug. And it just doesn't happen. At least you got something for him. But the bottom line is this man is a squirrel. He is accumulating assets. And at some points, he's going to cash in his chips and make the Red Wings a very good team. And that's why. But to acquire assets, it takes a long time to do that. He needs enough assets where he can he can trade for the big name, because everybody wants the big name. Well, you just don't trade the big name with one first-round pick and then a seventh-round pick. You don't do that. You need first-round, second-round, third-round picks, fourth. You need a bunch of them so you still have something to draft. People just don't understand that. It's like, oh, let's get a big name in here. That's all they think. But then they'll try to lowball them and say, oh, let's bring in this big name. I'll give him a third-round pick. No, it don't work that way.
Rad in the WoodwardSports.com chat thread says, my girlfriend is pissed and wants him gone for trading Bertuzzi. Well, then, Rad, you need to break up with her. I'm not going to tell you how to live your life, but you probably need to break up with her because she's not reasonable. And this is like a little, hey, this is foreshadowing. And, Rad, guess what? In 5 months from now, you're going to get in an argument over where to go to dinner or something like that, and you're going to say, you know what, Neal was right.
Now, and you're going to say, Terry's right. Here's what's going to happen. If your girlfriend is telling you to fire Steve Yzerman, guess what's going to happen to your ass? She's going to fire you.
Rad, listen to what we're talking about here. We're devoting time on our show strictly to help you, Rad.
Right.
All right? So we're trying to do what we can do for you. WoodwardSports.com chat thread. Brandon Katz says first-round picks are not as valuable in the NHL as well.
When you got 1 billion of them, they are.
Yeah. Well, are people familiar with David Pasternak's work? No,
He's a very
fine local hockey player in Boston. He was a number 25 pick overall.
Mm-hmm.
So, and you could go down the board of good players in this league that are there.
Is there a guy named Connor McDavid? You ever hear of him?
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, though.
Did they pick in the first round, or was it the 25th round? I can't remember.
Well, he was one of those,
okay.
The Connor Bedard, the Sidney Crosby's, like the chosen one. Stevie Y did say that. He's like, hey, we haven't gotten any draft luck lottery. We haven't. And he goes, I'm not blaming it on that because I have to make good picks. And the year that they got hosed was a year that they got Mo Sider, right?
Yeah, right.
Yep.
We were bitching about that. Oh, they got the six pick. Gary Bettman hates the Bruins.
And to be fair, you guys know this, right? Here's another thing where I'm different than most media guys in this town. I remember when they took Mo Sider, and I was like, you're taking guys from Germany? Who takes hockey players from Germany?
If you've flown over there to watch him play, you would have seen he's a quality puck player.
Yeah, so I'm with that. And, I'm all about it. The second Lorena Rio says, did Ken Holland consult Al Avila regarding trades and draft picks? He operated like it. RJ Graham says, Rad, ship your lady to Boston.
Yeah.
For future assets and draft capital.
And take her out for a lobster dinner. Everybody be happy.
Yeah, and then everything will go well. So
I say you should fire her before she gets you.
And Rad, okay, we have news. We have breaking news in the whole Rad and his girlfriend situation. Guys, I just texted my girlfriend, quote, we need to talk.
Okay. Hey, Rad, make sure you have a place to live because she will kick you out in the street and throw your clothes out in the middle of the... I know that woman.
Yeah.
What type of woman she is. She'll throw your clothes in the middle of the street.
And Sam Flannel says, Rad, that you can go live with him until, you get back on your feet and everything like that. So there is that. There is that as well. Peaceful Tim says, hold up, Neal. You're married and how long? Yes, I am married. Coming up on 20 years this August.
Congratulations.
Yep. Thank you. That's the thing. Brandon Katz says San Jose got a first and conditional second first round pick. Yes, and they also got a $10 million or what, $8.5 to $9 million a year contract on the books as well. So, that's where it is. And Doughboy Steve says, Neal, everybody said the same things about Russians and Swedes back in the day. And look, full disclosure, man, when they drafted Mo Sider, I was like, because I watched Germany get waxed in the Olympics every year, right? Mm-hmm. Because I told you this before, and I've talked to D-Mac about this. I love Olympic hockey, because I love when Russia plays Kazakhstan and beats them 13-1.
Right.
And you got Pavel Bure and Sergei Fedorov like on that big ice.
Having fun.
Yeah. Right. Playing pickup games.
But you know what? This town is so fickle. This town, now they love the Russian hockey players. Oh, look what they did for us. But this town turned on them until they won their first cup. Oh, the Russian players, all they care about is winning a gold medal in the Olympics. They don't care about the Stanley Cup. I don't know why there's so many damn Russians on the wings. Then they proved that not to be true. Now they love the Russians now.
Right. So it is. And it looks like Rad is going to take matters into his home. Look, Rad, update tomorrow. We'll monitor. We'll continue to monitor this situation, Rad. Give us an update tomorrow.
Keep us posted.
If you're just joining us right now, Rad said that his girlfriend wanted Steve Yzerman fired for trading Bertuzzi. Both of our advice were for him to break up with her, and he told us, he texted her, quote, "We need to talk." So tomorrow, let us know how it went. Is that fair?
Yeah, fire, unless she's super fine. Then think about it.
I don't know, Terry. Don't fall for that. Don't fall for the Anthony Richardson of the combine.
Yeah, that's true.
That is true. Sports Marketing Agency. They help spread awareness about mental health and substance abuse. Their new podcast is called This is the S Word. It helps fight the stigma associated with seeking help. If you're struggling or someone you know is struggling, go to thesportsma.com. Again, thesportsma.com. The Sports Marketing Agency. They're here to help.
Introducing the Planet Fitness Guide to getting that post-workout glow. Step 1, what's your why? More epic energy, better sleep, blow off steam? Step 2, join Planet Fitness for just $10 a month and get moving in our clean and spacious clubs. Step 3, bask in that post-workout glow. Join Planet Fitness today for just $10 a month.
Join today at any of the 50-plus Detroit area locations.
Get a shot up. This is for the win. All of Detroit's sports teams live on Woodward. All of Detroit's sports coverage lives on Woodward Sports. Driving the best in Detroit sports coverage.
Back at it here, Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network. Neal Ruhl, Terry Foster in for D-Mac. We got JB Smoove in the house on the ones and twos. We got Sam Flannel out here as well. We'll talk Michigan basketball with Sam Flannel coming up in just a little bit. He's all fired up. I tell him not to worry. Everything's going to be fine. You got Jet with 2 T's, so everything will be fine. Do not worry about that. WoodwardSports.com chat thread Lions Planet says, I want Alex DeBrincat this offseason. Time to make a splash on this team. And Lions Planet, look, the actions suggest that it's not. And here's another reason as to why, and this isn't so overt. When you look at this team statistically, this Red Wings team, they are worlds better than they were last year. As bad as, you know, some of the meltdowns have been, and it seems like teams will score 2 or 3 goals in a bunch on them, their goals against, markedly better, massively better than it was at this time a year ago. There's been progress, Terry. Like, I don't know, you know, you say, I want to splash on this team. Why? You're not happy with the way things are going right now? No. Are you happy with the way things are going right now?
I am.
Has there been progress?
There has.
Then what's the problem?
Well, the problem is people feel they should be fighting not for the playoffs, but for home rink advantage.
It should be them and the Bruins, huh?
Yeah, right. Bruins, they can see the Bruins #1, but the Wings should be 3rd or 4th or something. But they don't understand, when you look at sports, and this happens with every franchise. Franchise has its run. When the run is over, they don't come back for another 5, 6, 7, 8 years. So it's not like you win championships, rebuild, and 2 years later you're back in the Stanley Cup Finals. It takes a while. Now, you can sign free agents. You can do that quick fix thing. But then you're back in where you were before when these people get old. You're back at the bottom of the barrel, and then you have to try to build it back up again.
Right.
So, and Steve Yzerman said, I'm going to do it the right way. He hinted it's not going to be as quickly as you want it to be, but when he builds it, he's going to build it right. Brad Holmes has taken that approach also, and it will work out Not as quickly as everybody wants it to be, but it will work out. Because you can run the risk of it not working out at all. Let's take the Detroit Tigers. Detroit Tigers are in a rebuild of a rebuild. Is that what you want? So the Tigers not even a rebuild because they never built anything. I don't know what they're in, but they're in a let's try to go from being really bad to mediocre.
No, but they've done, and they've told you this. They want to be the Tampa Bay Rays. Their owner is tapped out financially. He's tapped out. When even got Tampa Bay Rays development people and scout people. That's what they're going to do, Terry. They are going to do this thing the same way the Tampa Bay Rays do, where they're going to try to build it through the draft and do it. I know why. Because it's cheaper. It's cheaper to write one big check to a GM than it is to write 8 big checks to players.
Right. Because of your boy Chris Ilitch.
Which I'm fine with if it works. But
it won't work.
And there's that. I believe I have more belief in it now that Avila's gone, that it can work. Because Avila, when it's all said and done, will be one of the worst GMs that this town has ever seen. And I know that's a bold statement. He gets a lot of leeway because he came on at the end of a team that had a 10-year run.
Right. Here's why it won't work. Because if the Tigers do the rebuild through the draft and low payroll, there will come a point where we'll look at the Tigers and say, you know what? All they need is a starting right-hand pitcher to get over the top. Chris, can you write one check? Nope, too expensive. He won't write that check. That's why it's not going to work. Now, they'll be, and it should work because they're in the worst division in baseball. So the Tigers should always be near the top if they're serious about winning. And the other thing I would do if I was owning this team, I wouldn't do it like the Tampa Bay Rays. I would say, look, I'm giving you the leeway to spend money because if you spend money with the Tigers, you will make money. And that's the thing that Chris Ilitch doesn't understand. We want to go to the ballpark. Even if you have a mediocre team and you got a couple guys that we feel like going to see play, guess what? We'll get 35, 40,000 people will show up to your damn games.
Especially on fireworks night.
Hey, fireworks work. But even if your team is kind of like, blah, mid, your thing.
Mid.
We'll still show up. And we'll buy the beers. We'll buy the overpriced hot dogs. We'll buy the peanuts.
I buy bourbon when I go there, even on a 90-degree
day. They had
day.
Bourbon there.
Oh, absolutely. We got to get up in right field, up at the, I don't know what sponsor it is now, but the old New Amsterdam bar.
I go there all the time.
Absolutely, Terry.
Leinenkugel. That's the place to go.
It is.
Tigers. It's fun up there.
That's more my crowd up there.
Mm-hmm.
I'll just say it like that. Philip C. says, taking marriage advice from Terry is like swimming in hot lava. Your thoughts?
I disagree. I need some evidence or proof why that's the case. But I think I'm pretty solid. I give very good advice. Let the bitch walk. I give good advice.
It's proven.
Mm-hmm.
It is proven. It's just, for me, if anything, these moves solidified my belief in Steve Yzerman more.
Right.
This will work. This will work. Because here's the deal. When you hear him talk, you hear that competitiveness.
Mm-hmm.
He will not accept failing at this.
Right.
He won't. Just like playing. Remember, what is he remembered for, Steve Yzerman? Being the third best player on the planet until it was time to shift the game in another direction, right? That's what he's known for. Right. Stepping aside, maybe offensively, allowing, the Fedorovs of the world, kind of losing some of the spotlight per se, doing whatever it took to win.
He started to play defense.
Whatever it took to win, right?
Mm-hmm.
He will succeed in this. He will.
Where do you think he wants to win a cup more, Tampa or Detroit? So he's going to make sure he gets it right here.
I believe that. Mm-hmm. And because again, just the way he talked about it, that's not the way GMs act. Failing GMs, they're not like that. He came out and laid it out to you. We are not good enough. And Terry, can you imagine saying that? Could you imagine a GM? Because who's that an indictment of? If you're the boss and you come out and say, we're not good enough, guess who's, quote unquote, failing at their job?
Well, he understands it's not necessarily him because he inherited a team that was in shambles.
You and I know that truth, right? Mm-hmm. But still at the same time, what is that saying? When you oversee an organization and then you say the organization, I got to do better. No one does that, man. Not in today's day and age.
Everybody's scared.
Right. And he's not.
Looking over my back.
Yeah. And it's just because he's that competent in what he does, and he's going to get the job done, man. I believe that. Mm-hmm. So, that's what it is. WoodwardSports.com chat thread. Jack Harrington, John Henry, who owns the Red Sox, is smarter than Chris Ilitch. Red Sox got their own issues going right now, but they've cashed them in. Mm-hmm. That's the difference. Let's go Red Wings Sparty. Maybe Ilitch just wouldn't open up the checkbook for Avila. I know I wouldn't, but they did. They did. Would they spend $250 million in the last offseason when they got Rodriguez and Baez? Right?
Mm-hmm.
Yikes.
It's the cook. It's the cook.
No, Avila didn't know what was happening.
No.
Let's stop trying to defend him. That's just one person. Most people in Detroit know Avila was a disaster.
I know it. Mm-hmm. What about my claim with that? And this is from a Matt Millen perspective, too.
You know who came up with a brilliant thing about good GMs and bad GMs?
Who?
Adam, believe it or not.
No, I don't believe you.
No. He said, if the guy is fat, chances are he's going to be a bad general manager. If the guy's in shape, he's going to be a good general manager. Steve Yzerman's in shape, correct?
I do not get into personal appearance. I do not hold that as a...
Is Steve Yzerman
all I care about is the analytics of it all.
Okay. Avila, how would you describe his body type?
Avila?
Mm-hmm.
It's round.
Yeah, he's round. Plump. Bad GM.
No, he's a bad GM because Holmes. They didn't draft any good players the whole time he was here, and because every free agent signing he had was a disaster.
Because he was fat. Brad Holmes.
I'm not prepared to say that.
Okay, let's look at Brad Holmes. Good GM or bad GM?
Good.
How would you describe his body type?
Fit.
Okay. Do I need to say more? Do you think Troy Weaver's doing a good job?
Yeah, so far so good.
Is he fat or fit?
He's fit.
Bam.
I just want this to be over.
I'm just saying.
I just want this to be over.
Adam made a good point.
WoodwardSports.com chat thread. Zach says, Baez is the most overrated hot garbage in the majors. Good shortstop, but he swings like he's 6'5", 230 pounds. See, Zach, he's not a good shortstop.
No. But, Neal, he was so bad at the plate.
That you forgot how bad he was in the field?
How bad he was in the field.
He had almost 30 errors. He had almost 30 errors, T.
I know. Be like a little dribbler and he'd drop it. Or no, most of the time he would fire it 10 feet above the first baseman.
Joey 2 times says, what about Bob Quinn? He was in great shape.
Matt Millen. No. Matt Patricia.
Joey 2 times says Scotty Bowman. He was overweight.
Legend. His coach.
Rich Diane also says Fat Trisha proves T. Foss's point.
He was fat. Fat Trisha.
Okay. Dominator says one big name is not fixing the Red Wings. They need a better core. The other teams are loading up and filling cap for the cup runs. The Red Wings are far from that mode. And Dominator Steve Yzerman came out and told you guys that. Told us all that. And that's why I'm all right with it. There's some transparency to it. He didn't just show up and be bad and continue to get away with it for a decade like Avila did.
He started out being boring. He says, I'm going to build this team from the goalie out, which puts people to sleep because what do people – well, I want that high-price winger from the – or the high-scored winger from the OHL, a guy that's going to put up 80 points or 80 goals in the OHL and not play defense. That's what I want. Steve Yzerman said, no, we're not doing that.
Rad takes your side, though. Rad says Bob Quinn was nerdy fit, so it doesn't count.
That's true. He was. He probably couldn't run 10 feet.
He'd run for a haircut, though. If he wanted to run for a good haircut, right. Sam Flannel, where would he go?
You would go to Lady Jane's, of course. Come to Lady Jane's for an award-winning experience and register for a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to win a down payment for your dream home, up to $200,000. Lady Jane's open 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. It's wicked awesome.
Love Woodward Sports? Love wearing clothes? Then you should be wearing Woodward Sports clothes. Check out our full line of merch at woodwardsports.com. Just click on Shop. We have all your favorite designs, like Dan Campbell kneecaps, Beverly Hills Golf, Woodward Golf, and of course, our own logoed out merchandise. Men, women, infants, kids all love Woodward Sports. Impress your friends. Impress your boss. Impress your dog. Buy Woodward Sports merch today.
You don't have to go to the beach, man. You don't have to get your butt crack full of sand. You just need a little chili peppers, man, to get that glowing beach chili peppers tan. Woo!
With 26 locations in the Metro Detroit area and more coming, Chili Peppers Tanning is where you'll find the cleanest salons in the D. Join the Pepper Club for the best deals on unlimited tanning. Head to chilipepperstanning.com.
You just need a little chili peppers, man.
We are the network for Detroit by Detroiters. Welcome to the Woodward Sports Network.
Back at it, Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network, live at Feldman Chevrolet in Novi, Michigan's #1 Chevy dealer. That is fact, not opinion. Neal Ruhl, Terry Foster in for DMAC. We have Sam Flannel. He's another satisfied Feldman Chevrolet customer. JB Smoove in the house as well. WoodwardSports.com chat thread. All of you guys are in there also. Honolulu Blue Sparty says, is this hockey day? Did I miss a combine talk? Well, Honolulu Blue Sparty, we only talked about it for the first hour of the show, which, if you subscribe to the Big D Energy podcast, you can rewind, fast forward, catch a show whenever you want to. So
and you'll hear how Anthony Richardson going up the draft board is a blessing for the Lions, even though they're not going to take them.
Absolutely. So you can catch up on all that, Honolulu Blue Sparty. So subscribe to the Big D Energy podcast, iTunes, Spreaker, wherever you get your podcast. Just search Big D Energy.
I want to help you with something.
Yes, sir.
You're a guy that always likes to have fun.
Do I?
You do?
Okay.
Yeah, you want to have fun. I will recommend, because it's getting to that time of year, go to Vegas for the first weekend of the tournament, of the basketball tournament. You will have a blast.
Yeah, I've heard that, because I do go for the Super Bowl fairly regularly when the schedule allows, and it's electric for the Super Bowl. And I've heard the same thing about the NCAA tournament. Super Bowl is incredible out there.
They got the food, the booze, the gambling, and the hookers are all out there.
And you don't even need the tournament for that, or the Super Bowl.
No, you don't.
That's just Tuesday.
Yeah, you can just walk up and down the street, but you should do that sometime.
Yes.
Don't take the wife.
Why not?
Just in case you want to partake in the hookers.
But she doesn't want Steve Yzerman fired, though.
Okay.
Well, unlike Rad's girlfriend, who does.
Yeah, but you'll have more fun without the wife.
I'm not going to comment on that in a public forum.
I'm just saying, hanging out.
It'll be a different kind of fun. We could say it like that, Terry. It'll be a different kind of fun.
Right.
Okay, that's fair. But yeah, subscribe to the Big D Energy podcast and get it in there. You can rewind, fast forward. We spent a lot of time talking about the Combine in the first hour of the show. We do have to touch on this, and this is where we have to welcome in Sam Flannel, because people talking about Fish. And by the way, yes, Fish did leave Woodward Sports. Philip C. says Fish will destroy Woodward Sports with liver noise sports.
He probably is.
He'll have a bunch of startups. There'll be Gratiot Sports, John R. Sports.
I was going to say he's a Gratiot Sport guy.
Yeah, absolutely. But that's we wish him well on his future endeavors. There is no doubt about that. Flannel, Michigan falls in overtime at Indiana. You think they're out of the NCAA tournament. I've been telling you this whole time they're in. They could still lose both of these games, and they're still going to get in. They're playing bum-ass Rutgers, who has just fallen apart. and all your talking points, and I know you'll line up there and say, Rutgers is a good team and stuff like that. I know you will.
Solid ball club.
No, it's the very fine local ball club there. Sam Flannel, they're getting in. They'll beat Rutgers. Rutgers stinks, especially over the last month of the season. You're fine. So what's the problem?
It's still been a massively disappointing season, regardless of if they get in or not. They should not be in a situation in which a Big Ten tournament loss should render them out of the tournament. This team is too talented. Hunter Dickinson came back and is basically the exact same player he's always been. Jet Howard and Kobe Buffkin are going to be first-round draft picks. And yet, Michigan is going to, at best, limp into the tournament, at worst, not make it. And I just found a crazy stat. Even crazier than some of the ones I mentioned earlier. Even crazier than the fact that Juwan Howard is 2-10 in one-score games during his tenure at Michigan. This season, Michigan has lost 6 games in which at one point in the game, their win probability was above 80%. Just imagine, if your win probability is above 80% in a game, you should probably win all of those games. But imagine if Michigan wins 4 or 5 of them instead of 0. They would be possibly competing for a Big Ten championship. They could be getting a high seed in the NCAA tournament and then maybe make a run. I don't know. And that's why I'm upset, because the season has been a colossal failure no matter what, even if they make a run in the tournament. They'd have to go to the Elite 8 or Final 4 for me to consider this season any type of success.
But it's going to line up that way, because I'm telling you how it's going to go. They'll beat Rutgers because, all right, how many teams are going to go from the Big Ten? You said 8 before, right?
Maybe 9. Penn State
Maybe
got
9?
a win, yeah.
So they're in. Like, what's your problem?
Why should I be okay with this team limping into the tournament? Why? There's 3 games above 500 on all games. There are 2 games above 500 in Big Ten play. That's not...
No, I get his point. It's not enough to make it into the tournament. You want to see that your team is a quality team. Michigan is not a quality team.
No, they're not.
Even when a year in college basketball is bad, the Big Ten is bad, they're still like, whatever.
Well, I mean, the thing is, I got used to a standard with Michigan basketball where John Beilein, in my opinion, built this into the best program in the Big Ten.
Well,
At least
he hasn't been here for a minute.
That's true, but Juwan Howard inherited that, and he had one good year. I'll admit it. They made the Elite 8. They choked away a chance to the Final 4, but they still made the Elite 8. That's fine. But overall, I'd say that Juwan Howard's tenure has been disappointing, and he took over a team that had won 30 games and was returning Franz Wagner and Isaiah Livers. And that team might not have even made the tournament if that tournament didn't get canceled by COVID. I don't like the way the program has regressed under Juwan Howard. They were respected. They were the top basketball school in the Big Ten from 2013 to 2018. That's just the numbers. They were the top NBA factory in the Big Ten from 2013 to 2018. Those are just the numbers, and they just haven't been the same since then. And I'm allowed to be upset. I'm allowed to question Juwan Howard and this whole Michigan program. Just
now, you should be upset.
Thank you.
Now, I will say this. I'm going to steal a line from Neal. Both things can be true. Yes, they can make the NCAA tournament. Yes, Flannel Sam can be upset with Michigan, because Michigan is not a good basketball team. At least they haven't played good basketball. But they can still make the tournament. There's no shame in Sam saying, I want excellence out of this basketball team. Because Michigan, their program in basketball, even though we forget about basketball at Michigan because it's a football school, their program has shown excellence over the years. And there is no reason why this man shouldn't expect the same thing with this Michigan basketball team.
I'm just perusing. The Athletic just dropped their story with their bracket, and they have Michigan as one of the first 4 out, but they have Penn State in. In no world is that going to happen, Sam Flannel.
I think they might both get in.
In no world.
I mean, Penn State got a big win over Maryland the other day.
And oh, by the way, and you can vouch for this. I'm giving you the roadmap of how this is going to go down. They have Wisconsin playing Nevada in the first round.
Why is Wisconsin in the tournament? Wisconsin blows.
As does Rutgers. As does Penn State.
But you know what? Wisconsin in the past has made Final Fours. Wisconsin used to be
which is why Michigan will be there.
A very good team. Even though they would bore you to death in the tournament, they used to make it, and they beat people.
They did. They were a good program for a while. a while, and they even made a national championship game where they lost to Duke, and Michigan has made 2 with John Beilein. It's just that in no world can you say that Juwan Howard has elevated this program in any way, shape, or form. Like Terry said, it was an excellent basketball program for about a 5-6 year stretch, and right now it's mediocre. It's worse than mediocre. It's the worst you can be, falling way short of expectations, having all the talent in the world, and possibly not making the tournament. It's disgraceful. There's no other word to say.
They're going to get in. They're going to play Nevada or somebody like that somewhere way out east, probably Dayton, as a matter of fact. They'll beat Nevada, and then Michigan will be back. And Sam Flannel will be saying, let me see how that would shake out, too, after they did that. Say they put them in that spot where, they're in 11, they play in for the 11, and they get the win. Then they'll play Creighton. You know what I'm saying? They'll play somebody like that who's a 4, and Sam Flannel will be back on board. Beating Nevada and beating Creighton, he'll be back, and he'll say, I never should have doubted Juwan.
No.
I'm just telling you how it's going to go.
That is not.
I'm telling you how it's going to go, Sam Flannel.
Let the record show you that last season, even though Michigan made the Sweet 16 and they made that little run where they ended up beating Tennessee in the second round, I did say that the season overall was a failure because they were a preseason top 10 with 2 5-stars and Hunter Dickinson returning. And
they got that padded Colorado State game.
Hey, they won. And then
see, there it is right there.
But what am I supposed to do? If they get the gift, I shouldn't root for them? I don't know what I can say that can satisfy you, Neal. I'm supposed to be okay that they just limp into the tournament, just if they get in, no matter what.
No, you can choose to be or not to be okay with it. I'm just telling you how it's going to go.
Okay, fine, and I hope you're right. I would love to see him in the tournament.
Flannel has standards. Now, there's 2 fans out there. I just read a story in the L.A. Times about the 2 fan bases that are in America. One, there's the blind fan that no matter what, they're going to support their team. They're going to say their team is great. Then there's the second fan, which I think this is Flannel. You got to earn my trust. You got to earn me saying that you're good.
But he goes back and forth so quickly, in the span of 20 minutes even.
I know, but he sees different things. He gets new information, which you do. And he changes his mind.
But you shouldn't, because I gave him the blueprint of how this is going to play out.
But that's not an acceptable blueprint. If they win one or both of those final road games, they're more comfortably in. They go in playing well. I keep saying, I don't want Michigan to limp into the tournament 3 games above 500. The
committee chairman will stand up there on CBS on Sunday and talk about how great of a loss it was at Indiana, Terry. It's a quad 1 road loss that they went into overtime with. Despite the fact, and look, I'll do it after the break, because remind me to give you the Juwan Howard deal.
All right.
Because I will back up your point after I tell you about Cintron, the official energy drink of the Red Wings. Right now they have the exclusive offer for Woodward sports fans with their limited edition Red Wings 6-pack. It's only $15 with free shipping. Come on, guys. If you haven't tried Cintron yet, this is a great way to do it. Head to drinkcintron.com/Woodward. Drinkcintron.com/Woodward and try it today. All 3 delicious Cintron flavors in one. The classic sugar-free, on the cranberry. So you know what? Why wait? Go to drinkcintron.com/Woodward. One more time. drinkcintron.com/Woodward. Get yours today.
Hey, it's Sean Jordan from the Sports Marketing Agency, and SMA wouldn't be who we are without our amazing partners.
Thank you so much, Sean. At Detroit Wayne, we want to serve as a resource for you and your families. We offer mental health services, substance use disorder services throughout our communities, and we want to be that source and resource within the community.
If you or a loved one are suffering from a mental health or substance abuse issue, please don't hesitate to call 1-800-241-4949.
We don't like to brag that we are the toughest sports network in Detroit, but we do have a guy named Darren McCarty on our side.
Lemieux and McCarty, who've had a good knockdown drag up. There they go, right on the whistle. They were talking to one another.
Woodward Sports.
Neal Ruhl here for Custom Health Centers. Get your customized approach to weight loss. Think of all the way that your weight affects your health, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and physically. Custom Health Centers has had over 20,000 success stories. You can be next. They've helped many ex-professional athletes lose weight. People like Detroit Lion Pro Bowl MVP kicker Eddie Murray, and NBA champion and Piston bad boy Rick Mahorn. Rick's down over 50 pounds with Custom Health Centers. You can start losing weight today. Call Dr. Jason and Custom Health. 844-789-8446. That's 844-789-THIN. Final segment of the show, Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network. Neal Ruhl, Terry Foster in for DMAC, JB Smoove on the ones and twos. Sam Flannel, what do you got?
Instead of making fun of Sam
I'm
Flannel,
not.
You're kind of poking him around like you like to do, putting little holes in his poor little chest.
No.
We should applaud this guy. He's not a sheep. Now, here's what I hear too much from Michigan fans. We're having a bad year, but those damn refs screwed us like 5 times this year. He's not saying that. He's admitting the program is not where it should be. He doesn't want to see him limping to the tournament.
He can't admit that.
Huh?
He can't say that because they've been helped.
Oh, Michigan fans say that every year. Are you kidding me, dude?
I know they do.
Even if they have a game with no refs, they will blame the refs.
WoodwardSports.com chat thread. Zach says Michigan basketball is in bozo land. Jack Harrington, Michigan basketball this year equals bozo. Anytime people use bozo, I'll give them a little extra on there for dropping into it. But I'm just telling you guys how this is going to play out. They're going to get in. They'll be playing in Dayton because it's a full building. They'll be playing Nevada. They'll win. They'll move on. That's the way this works. And I already see it, too, like with the Athletic. Florida Atlantic, who I think is like 18-2 in Conference USA. They're ranked, nationally ranked, 24th in the nation. They got them as a 9 seed.
All right.
They got them as a 9 seed in UCLA's 1 seed in Sacramento.
Ooh.
They want you out.
Hello.
They want you out because you guys know how this pay structure works, right? It's all about the money, Terry. You know how it works. You get more, the further you go, the more money you make. Your
Right.
conference throws it into a pile. You split the money.
Right.
That's how this all works. If you're Florida Atlantic, you're Nevada, they want you out now.
Because you don't help the cause. Nobody's watching.
Right. You don't help the cause. You're exactly right. That's the way that it goes down. I will say this, Sam Flannel. Mike G, U of M is a football, softball, and gymnastics powerhouse. Baseball, too. That's what I was told. RJ Graham, Sam Flannel loves to flip-flop. Sam loves to hop on the train and then hop off the train. Lots of talk about Crumbury, too. But Flannel, here's the deal.
Yep.
That last minute of the game and that overtime was bad.
Yeah.
From a coaching perspective. Like, what was – it looked like they were trying to get Dickinson the ball in the post, which is right, which is what you're supposed to do. At the first sign of adversity to that, the play broke down and there was no other well to go to. And they just did that repeatedly. And Sam, it was a tough watch.
It was a tough watch. And to me, that's coaching. And we even go back to the final shot that Michigan got in regulation, just a heave of a 3 from Hunter Dickinson. They didn't try to get the ball inside. They didn't run anything. It doesn't make any sense. It was a tie game. I mean, at least get it going to the basket and maybe draw a foul or something. And that's kind of been the story of Michigan basketball this season. When they have to run those out-of-timeout plays at the end of games, it just always looks very, very disjointed. And under a coach like John Beilein, he was kind of a master at the X's and O's. And that's sort of why I get so frustrated with the Juwan Howard, because they have talent. They play well, very, very well in stretches, but when it comes to crunch time, they just can't close a team out to save their lives. And even that one shot that Hunter Dickinson hit to tie the game against Wisconsin, that was, I don't want to say it was lucky, but they had no timeouts. Terrence Williams just had to throw it in and heave it in, and Hunter Dickinson, because he's 7'1", was able to catch it and heave off
and
a 30
shove
for
a guy
3.
out of bounds.
Hey, that was not called. And you know what? Sometimes Michigan just has to get one of those close wins for once, but I guess my point is
No,
that
they don't. There's a lot of quad 1 close losses. That'll be a new stat that the committee uses.
You know what, Neal? Even you have to admit, if they would have lost to Wisconsin and then lost those next 2 road games, they would have been out, barring a big Big Ten tournament run. Juwan's not getting it done. A lot of times
He'll be back. Once they beat Rutgers, he'll be back.
No, I don't think he's coming back this year.
He'll be back.
I think Sam is
He'll
out.
fall. Terry, they all fall for it. They'll fall for the win over Nevada.
No, the Michigan fan base will fall for it. Sam over here will not. The other thing they did yesterday, which I found interesting, is they tried to feed Hunter Dickinson twice in the post when he was double teamed, and they didn't see the second guy ready to swipe the ball as soon as he got it. Then at the end of the game, they tried to feed Hunter Dickinson for a 3 with 3 people around him. And so they hit him in the back.
Yeah, Kobe's got to take that shot.
You should have shot it.
Yeah, 100%.
By the way, listen to this too. If you guys don't think that this is real, what I'm talking about, the NCAA tournament, I told you they had Wisconsin, which I think will interchange and be Michigan playing Nevada. Then they have Iowa playing Boise State. Then they have, as you go down further, you look at it, they have, where was it? Because this one was interesting too. They have Michigan State playing Pitt.
Yeah, I was going to say, and what seed is Michigan State?
They have Michigan State as a 7.
Okay.
Which in rankings equates to 28th, right?
I guess so.
But yet you have Florida Atlantic, who is 24th, as a 9 seed.
Florida Atlantic should have a higher seed than State.
You see what I'm saying?
Sure.
Like, you guys, you see how this stuff works, right?
Reputation.
I mean, people don't want to watch Florida Atlantic play. They're going to be outside doing yard work. That's just reality.
But it doesn't make it right.
It doesn't make it right.
Right. So that's my point. So when you guys hear me get in on that, you'll know where it's coming from, because you can already see how this is setting itself up to shake out. They'll give the Big Ten teams all the Mountain West teams. That's what they'll do.
Sure.
So they want to push them through. So they'll do what they have to do. Show did fly by. Somebody in the WoodwardSports.com chat thread said the show really flew by today. It did. Chuck, I'm sorry. Maybe we'll have Sam Flannel give the Michigan softball update tomorrow with the new coach and everything like that when we get back in studio.
Who's the new coach?
Oh, they have a new coach?
Carol Hutchinson is gone.
Don't worry. Sure. When the College Softball World Series comes around, we'll be going our coverage.
We'll be getting videos from Michigan softball.
Yeah, absolutely, we will. Appreciate everybody tapping into the show. Big thank you to everybody out here at Feldman Chevrolet in Novi, Michigan's #1 Chevy dealer. For T. Foss, for JB Smoove and Sam Flannel, my name's Neal Ruhl. Thanks for tapping into Big D Energy. Well, see you later.
Be good.